our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation, our story. That's right. And I'm with Spicy Girl and that Mother Moon. La Familia. Mighty Thor and a Quiet Q. Super Hood. Omar. On the grill. And the B-Lot. 3 amigos. 4 brothers. Mr. Nicely Seasoned. What's the mariachis without Senor Raider? Representing just like the beginning Oakland Raider. Darlene and the Raider home. What about Little Chucky Gruded, my boss. Black Eyes. We're KO Gators. And it began on an autumn day, right here in the OAK. California dreaming in that golden state. Alameda County right here in the Bay. And you could find me on that east side, yo, representing that east side, oh. But no matter what, we represent the shield, just like Anna in the band club Emeryville. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Raider Nation. Our story, our story. Yo, representing silver and the black, Mr. Matter of Fact, yo, is here. Without showing any pity, from Oakland to Los Angeles to Vegas, all the way to Mexico City. And I represent that nation. Our story, our story. Yes, I represent the nation. Our story, our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation, our story. Right. Yo, this is my story and I represent it with the pride and the poise, commitment to that excellence I represent with noise. This is how I do it, the silver and the black, and I come into the tag and I represent it, matter of fact. And I'm cruising around with Hollywood Raider all around the town, and I just found out Raider Savage on the interstate. Raider de la Baja, yeah, orale. So get over here, cause we representing now. And that I don't win as a pirate. The I don't win as a breeze. The I don't win as a rain. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Raider Nation. Our story, our story. Yo, representing silver and the black, Mr. Matter of Fact, yo, is here. Without showing any pity, from Oakland to Los Angeles to Vegas, all the way to Mexico City. And I represent that nation. Our story. Yes, I represent the nation. Our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation. That's right, Mr. Matter of Fact is here.
What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to For Life, our Raider story. This is our take. I'm your host, Spicy Raider Girl, and I'm here with Mother Moon behind the scenes. What's up, Mother Moon?
What's up, everyone? Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here this beautiful Tuesday evening.
Yes, we have a fun show today. We have some of our New York family on tonight. We have Mr. Johnny Lauro himself of Peter Dillion's in New York City, and he's on because we have some exciting news happening this weekend out in New York City. So he'll be on very soon. And we also have, of course, Nevada Nick. He will be coming on, chiming in about the latest and greatest ongoing Carr discussion. Is there an extension going on? Oh my gosh, who knows? But we will discuss that in length, as well as some mock drafts with him.
Okay, sounds like a full evening.
It is. It's going to be fun, I think. I'm looking forward to it. What's up to everybody? What's up, Quincy? Q in the house, Raider Nation. What's up, Mighty Thor? Reef said the champ is here. Yes, he is. I think he might be part of the announcement we have a little later, so I don't know. We'll have to check that out. What's up, Omar?
We got the full crew.
We do got the full crew. Thanks for joining. Yeah. And William says, oh, yeah. He's always chiming in. I know I always see his stuff in the comments. So always excited for everyone to join. So before we get into our guest tonight, I just want to circle back to this Sunday show. If you missed it, it was epic. It was legendary. It was the Oakland Raiders, the Black Hole special from the Bank Club in Emeryville. We did it like we do in Oakland. It was refreshing, right?
It was. It was really fun. The energy was good, and everybody was just like we were in the tailgate.
Yeah, like in the back in the town.
Yeah,
it was like, okay, we've been out in Vegas a lot and we've traveled a lot this season. Unfortunately, we've only gotten to go to one game, of course, in Atlanta. But traveling is one thing, but being at home in an environment with Oakland people, it just felt really good.
It felt like family. I mean, not like everywhere else we've gone, definitely been welcomed and family vibe, but for some reason, this was just
This is what
chilling
I
group
remember
together.
being a Raiders. It was like reminded me what being a Raiders fan was all about. Like instant family, instant love.
Yeah.
We were getting hyphy on the bar, in the bar. We do it. If you missed it, check it out. It's of course on our YouTube channel, and that's our latest live, and that was on Sunday. That was with Veronica, El Miguel, Reina,
Yeah.
Jojo, James Ruiz, and Bedazzled in Spirit. And then we had our own cold Oakland Raiders 65 as guest bartender. So check that out if you missed it. It was super fun. The internet connection wasn't great, but just listen to what we had to say and just feel the vibe. Feel the vibe, you know.
And
The
let's give
quality
it
was low
right.
in visually, but the quality was high in spirit, right?
And where did we come from? Anna Bar in Emeryville,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bank Club.
All right, what's up? We had a couple more people join here. What's up, Robert Vega, Hefe, our soon-to-be Raiders fan, even though he's still trying to be Casey incognito. But I think he's coming over to the dark
He's
side
coming
very
over.
soon. Wouldn't you say?
I would definitely
Seems like,
say,
right?
yeah. I think he's bringing right now with the peace sign, so he's there with us.
He's a good guy. He's a good
Yeah,
guy. He's in here. He banters, but it's fun banter. So,
right, right.
that's how we do it in Oakland. We see somebody in different colors. We got to razz and dazz them a little bit, but it's all in good fun.
I say he's in the gray zone. He's headed toward the black real soon.
Really soon. That's right. Without further ado, let's bring in our first guest, Mr. Johnny Lauro from Peter Dillon's. Hey, what's up, my friend?
How are you? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Of course. Thanks for being here. We really
Welcome.
appreciate you representing the Raider Nation in New York.
Well, that is actually my esteemed pleasure. So proud to
Yes.
do it.
Thank you. And you're here because we are going to be, for Life on Raider Story, we'll be going live from Peter Dillon's this Saturday, which is like super exciting to
I
me.
am very, very excited for it.
I'm honored. So thank you for hosting us. Thank you for having us. Mother Moon and I have only been there once, and we were just talking about family vibe, and you treated us both like immediately like we were family.
And
We felt right at
regulars,
home.
right? Yeah.
It's there's a the thing I like to think about Raider fans is that no one else likes us, so we have to be. It's true. The whole rest of the league hates us, so we have to pretty much stay together as much as we can because it is literally us against them. So
Definitely,
it's
definitely.
Raiders versus everybody.
Raiders
This
versus
is true. And
everybody.
I
There
just
you
want
go.
to say how we ended at your bar was we knew about you, but we talked to a taxi driver and we were talking about going somewhere and he says, I'm going to take you where you need to be. He drove us, I don't know, how far did he drive us? Miles. And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, he says, this is a place to
And
be. So you're well known.
yes.
It's funny. More people know who I am than I know who they are. I actually was wearing my Raider jacket in on the subway, and somebody stopped me. It's like, "Oh man, you gotta go to this bar." I'm like, "Really? Tell me about tell me about it."
That's great.
That is awesome. Did you
So,
finally let him in that you were kind of the man behind everything there, or did you just
no, no,
no,
no, I
no,
didn't
you're just
actually.
like thanks.
I was looking at him like, "You don't recognize me, okay?"
Oh
Like
yeah,
I was
that's
your
true,
like
right?
I was your bartender.
Oh, that's
But,
great.
So yes, we will be there live. When did we were 11:30 a.m.
mhm.
Eastern time, correct? So this is
Yes,
great. We thought about going later, but in true Raider spirit, we decided to do our drinking in the morning, or to
you
start
can't
our
drink all
drinking
day
in the
unless you start
morning.
first thing in the morning. So yeah,
Yeah, it's just like we did it back in the tailgates. Got to start in the morning. So for our West Coast fans, that means y'all got to start drinking at 8:30 a.m. and tune into the show. So grab that mimosa, grab that beer, and make sure you're watching and pretend you're at a Raiders tailgate.
I've met those people. They're fully capable of doing that. So
Oh, 100%. I'm not asking for much.
no.
No, that's true.
In fact, I probably didn't even have to mention it. So tell us oh, and by the way, we will have some very special guests on that show as well. Do you want to let everyone know who will be appearing on that show with
Well,
us?
first and foremost, the vice president of the club, the Mad Dog himself, Carmine Pucci, will be there. Mr. Robert Vega is going to be there. I don't know if Sharif Salakan is going to be able to make it. That's a little early in the day for him. And I put the word out that the rest of the crew should be there.
All
So
right.
I'm hoping we have a few more people than the ones I just mentioned, but we'll be well represented, I believe.
Of course. Sharif could do it. It'll just be like you were telling me a story before we got on how he would turn up to the games right after work, right into the tailgate.
Yeah, he
So
works the
this is
graveyard. So
this is no different, right, Reef? I see you in here. So tell us a little bit. I know you have a very interesting story about how you became a Raiders fan in living in New York City, which is somewhat rare, I would say. You want to share that with us?
Yeah, actually, I grew up on Long Island, which is a suburb of New York City. But here in New York, I mean, my parents were Giant fans, and so I was growing up a Giants fan. And when I was turned 14, I started playing football for my high school. And after a week of practice, they assigned me to play defensive back. And my father told me that you have to play like Jack Tatum at the Oakland Raiders. I'm like, at 14, this was 1991. And I said, Dad, the Raiders play in Los Angeles, and who's Jack Tatum?
Oh,
And my father got this look in his face, and my father started talking about the Raiders, like
yeah.
the Raiders of the 70s. And my dad was a big Raider fan in the 70s because at a time when before satellite TV and the internet, not a lot of teams got national exposure. You had the Raiders, the Cowboys, and the Steelers, which is why you'll always find Raiders, Cowboys, and Steelers fans throughout the country. But my dad loved the Raiders, and that kind of got me into it. And also, this is the early 90s. NWA was pretty big, so the gear was everywhere. So, I was the only white kid in my high school wearing
Your
a
dad
Raiders
is an
jacket.
NWA fan. Is your dad?
No, my father is not an NWA fan. No, no, he is not. But now you were able to get the gear anywhere.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I can not only like follow this team, I can actually represent this team. So since age 14, I've kind of been all about the nation.
So at that time they were known as the LA Raiders. But
Yes.
But your dad repped the Oakland Raiders.
Oh,
correct?
my father has never once said Los Angeles. I've tried to remind him repeatedly that I moved to Vegas, and he still says Oakland.
That's my dude.
So he's like, yeah,
My
yeah,
dude.
yeah. He's like, what time's Oakland playing today? I'm like, Dad, they're playing Vegas now. He goes, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's how that's my kind of guy. We always say Oakland Raiders on this
oh,
show.
listen,
too.
I have so many fond memories of Oakland. I miss Oakland. I mean, we have a new palace in the desert, and I'm very excited to go there. But I left a piece of myself in the Bay Area last time I left. So
Definitely. And we're going to try to keep that spirit alive. We'll have some tailgates out here and stuff. So hopefully you will be back at some point. But speaking of Vegas, I know you and Carmine are kind of the leaders of throwing epic parties on the road.
okay, first and foremost, I have to say, Carmine does. When it comes to the actual travel accommodations, Carmine takes care of everything soup to nuts. He cannot say enough good things about what he does. So when it comes to like the Oakland, now Vegas trip, he does all of that.
All right.
Looking forward to that again. I mean, we always do some sort of charity event when we're out there. And we travel pretty strong. I think at one point in time we had 150 people on our trip.
Wow.
So yeah,
I would say that's pretty.
we take up pretty much most of the airport Hilton when we're there. So, and when they come here, it's a full weekend. Dillon's is open from Thursday night on. It's all about us. I think last time I had 4 school buses going to MetLife Stadium. We had a signing at one of our Peter Dillon's locations because we had 2. We had who did we have? We had Max Crosby, Colton Miller, Trayvon Mullen, Tillian Farrell, George Atkinson, and Lincoln Kennedy were all in the bar signing autographs.
Oh,
It's
that's so cool.
and of course all of us are there, so it's a big party weekend for us.
That's so great.
So.
And of course, we all know that the Raiders are going to be playing in New York this year.
Yes, they
so
are.
You're probably super excited about that. I'm sure you have a lot
We're
of
excited.
fans.
We're a little cautiously optimistic because right now we
Right.
couldn't have our epic party versus the Jets this year, and that was just a depressing weekend for me because, man, looking at my empty bar and knowing that I should have like 300 of my closest friends with me, and I
Right.
didn't. This year, the state of New Jersey just said that they're allowing 15%
Okay.
of fans inside outdoor arenas that have more than 5,000 seats. So we will be allowed inside MetLife Stadium. As of right now, we are not supplying tickets. Usually we handle all that. Right now, with the limited amount of seats available, I don't know if there's going to be any group sales. I don't know if there's going to be season ticket holders preference first. So we are not handling tickets as of right now.
Okay.
Now, as things change and things open up more and they allow more tickets to be sold, we're going to look into that. So that's going to be a constantly evolving thing regarding that event. We are, however, planning on having events at Peter Dillon's and all throughout the city for that weekend. So even if we're not going to be at the game, we're going to be doing something.
All right, great. And if you're not able to say get everyone into the game, do you think you'll do a tailgate or something like that at the stadium, or do you think you'll plan something offsite?
As of right now, I'm planning on doing a tailgate. They're not allowing tailgating at this moment. So I'm pretty sure if you get a bunch of Raider fans together, we'll find a way to have a party.
I was just gonna say, Raiders fans always find a way to post
We'll,
up and
we'll
have a
figure something
tailgate
out.
somewhere for
I
sure.
can guarantee that we will figure something out.
Yes, that is for that. I mean, like I say, Thor and myself and Mother Moon were outside tailgating for the A's home opener on the 66th island, and they weren't letting us anywhere near there. So we always stay ready.
Oh, I've tailgated with Thor. I know how he does.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thor's in here. What's up, Thor? I'm sure he's gonna be out there for that New York game. I'm sure Quincy will as well. I said
I think we're gonna get the entire crew to go.
yeah,
Keep us
that
on
would
your
be
list.
that would be epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can get everybody out there.
Great.
So yeah, again, do you want to tell us your bars finally open up, right?
We just opened
local
up
people
for the
in
first
general?
time last week. We opened up for football season. We unfortunately got shut down again 3 weeks before the end of the season, so I didn't get to have my full season there. But we opened up last weekend, and we're up at 35% this week, so I can have about I think 33 people inside the bar now. So it's a good sign. Things are picking up here in New York, and that's something we desperately need.
33 people compared to 300?
Yeah, well.
Wow, okay. Well, hey, 33 is better than none, right?
Absolutely.
I saw some of your posts about the outdoor bar situation in the snow. I mean, that I'm sure was a struggle. So
yeah, I mean, right now, the hospitality industry in New York City has been pretty affected. So we ask that if you're going to come, just come and be a good customer and take care of your service industry professionals. Because right now they couldn't bring everybody back, and right now your bartender is also your bar back. He's also the guy throwing out the garbage, cleaning the bathrooms. It's like we're wearing a lot of hats right now. So we appreciate any of the help we get.
Yeah, definitely. And let us know any way that we can help here on the show. If you want to ever come on to promote anything you have going on, you're always welcome. I know we have a lot of fans from the New York area who do watch this show. So always help. I mean, it might be just a little bit of a help, but anything we can do maybe could help.
No, we appreciate that. As we announce more information about the New York game, we'll definitely be giving you all the information we have.
All right, sounds good. So we will be out there again on this Saturday, 11:30 a.m. If you're in the New York area and you're listening, they can swing by, right? I know you're not officially open till 12, but
open up at 12. So yeah.
But if they come by and they watch the show and they want to hang out, will we accommodate them?
I got to clear that with my boss first.
To a certain extent, okay.
I got to clear that with my boss first. Just keep in mind, you're gonna have to have a temperature check before you come in, and you have to have your mask on at all times when you're not seated at your table. But aside from that, yeah, we can make that work.
All right, sounds good. And if not, hang out until 12, and then they're open anyway, and then come in and join the party, right? Because we'll be on for about an hour, and we'll be sharing stories about how the bar became a Raiders bar, epic stories from parties that you have. I'm sure you have so many great stories, Carmine as well. I'm sure the guys that are going to be on the show have plenty of stories.
That would actually be great for all of us to kind of maybe get the stories straight for a change. And there's always some things that are a little bit fuzzy because after the end of a Raider party. So maybe we can all get some information that's been a little bit fuzzy throughout these years.
Ooh, that's fun. We can play we could hear everyone's story and then see which one was actually the truth, but likely none of them. But not that they're lying; they just.
I think all of us
together.
I think all of us will actually be telling the same story in completely different ways, and every one of us will be telling the truth.
Right. Different points of view. Exactly, and then we can piece them all together. Well, if you want to call and talk to Johnny, if you have anything you want to ask him, or if you want to be part of that show, the call line is up. It's 510-394-4409. So give us a call. Like I said, I know we have. Can you see the comments there?
I cannot actually.
No, you cannot. Okay.
No.
If you switch to the comments on the right side of the screen, you can probably see them. And
okay, there.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
These might be some of your guys in here.
Yeah, these people.
I figured. If you want to say what's up to them, it looks like Corey, John,
Reeve, the Archbishop is in the house. Hey guys, how are you? Miss you. I haven't seen a lot of these guys since even before the season because none of them can make it down to the bar. So it's been a while since we've all been together. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. We Thor and I talk about this a lot. With not only the Raiders leaving, but with everything with COVID. It's been well over a year since we've seen some of our Raider Nation family, and we're really kind of craving for that to happen again. So like these little get-togethers that we have and these little shows we put together, even though they're smaller groups of people, it really does bring that back, that sense of camaraderie that we've all been missing, really.
It This year was very difficult for me to get through my bar just because I mean, on top of everything that was compounded this year, it's just a difficult year for everybody. But to not be able to do what I love to do, which is actually have my bar full of Raider fans,
Right.
I was only allowed to have 24 people,
Wow.
and very strict with the rules because not only the rules have to be enforced, it's also it's a very heavy fine. It's a
Mm.
10 to $25,000 fine and a loss of liquor license. And
Oh, that's not
Oh,
worth it.
yeah, so I'm always going to err on the side of caution when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, I had to turn people away,
Oh,
and
wow.
it
Yeah,
broke
that.
my heart doing that. And it's like I only have so many places I could put people, and there's only so much room inside. And um, I I burnt a couple of bridges, and I'm hoping that some words were just said in anger and frustration because it was a frustrating time for all of us.
Mhm.
And just a couple of people like, I always watch games here. I'm like, I can't let you in today. You should have been here
3 hours
earlier.
ago.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like I mean, I was my guys will tell you I was a little stricter than usual. Like there was no saving seats. I was constantly telling people put your mask on.
Yeah.
It was frustrating all the way around, and mostly just because people I didn't get to do what I love doing, which is actually celebrate Sundays with my Raider family, and I just some of that got taken away from me. Out of all the things that we've all lost this year, that was the one I think that hit us all the most because it's what we do, and we
Yeah.
didn't get to do it. So
Right. So maybe we can try to bring that spirit back for you a little bit this
I'm
Saturday.
hoping. I'm
Um,
hoping. I mean,
so how many people did you say? 33? You could
where
let
I
in?
wanted to have, I believe, 33. I've got to check the math on that. I got to check
Okay.
with the boss and find out what our actual official capacity is because we are, and I say we err on the side of caution. We are being overly cautious. Just
Got it.
for every most of the reason is we just cannot afford a fine or loss of liquor license. So
Of course. Yeah, that's
yeah.
most
so I
important.
have a feeling there's going to be a line around the corner,
Hopefully, we're going to
right?
promote this. Yes.
Oh,
So yes, as a reminder,
It's going
and
to be the hot spot.
be there. Peter Dillon's this Saturday. They open at noon, so come early. Stand in line. It shouldn't be too cold, and if you're in New York, you are probably used to the cold anyway. And then when it's open at noon, come in and celebrate with Raider Nation. Our show will still be going on. Johnny will probably have to, start serving the drinks. So, we could have you maybe come in place of him, not totally in place of, because you're still going to be part of the show, just working, right?
Just working, picking up some glasses, helping the man out, right?
Yes, definitely. And if you come, make sure to tip, tip extra, and then
Yeah,
tip
bring your
extra on
ones.
top of that. Heck, if you're watching from far away and you want to tip, we got Venmo. If you want to buy us a drink, I just made that up. He did not tell me to say that.
one thing you're going to have to do is if you're going to be standing outside in the cold, watch out for those icy patches because as I can tell you right now, you have
Uh
to look
oh.
out for them.
Uh
Yeah,
oh.
I took a nasty fall on the ice last Thursday. It's healing well, but it's a lovely shade of purple right now, and it's going to be fun to watch me hobble around on Saturday. But I'm going to do it
So
because
that oh, so that happened. I for some
that
reason
happened
I
this
thought
past
that
Thursday.
happened on the app. For some reason I thought that happened while you were working.
No, it happened on my way home from work. Actually,
Oh, okay.
3 blocks from my apartment. And I was like, son of a.
Yeah,
All
someone
I
right.
had
know a
said
couple
you
people
were
were
sick.
asking how my ankle is. It's getting better. I'm very well aware of it, but it's getting better. So
Brian says Derek Carr is picking up all the tabs this weekend. Yeah,
yeah,
we
my
didn't.
buddy. Yeah,
We
Brian is a critic of Mr. Carr. So
Well, Brian, hey, if you're around Thursday, you said you got injured on Thursday. My bad. If you're around Saturday, come by the bar, give us a call. If you know for sure you can make it, then we could probably work out those arrangements ahead of time a little easier. Correct? Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Hold that thought. I'm inviting everybody.
Just, I
He's
know,
like,
huh?
well, I'm not so sure.
Just be there early.
you can advise make always want only 33 are getting in.
That's right.
That's what I say. Come early.
Yeah.
Come early. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we let you go?
No, just miss everybody. I can't wait to see some people this weekend. It's been a long road back, but we're gonna get there, and definitely miss my boys. I miss the nation, and I cannot wait for next football season because we got some business to take care of. Thank you so much for having me on today. It was a great pleasure,
You're
and
welcome.
I will see you all on Saturday.
We'll see you then. Thank you
All
so
right, kids,
much.
shields
Have
up.
a good night.
Take
Yeah.
care.
All right, that was Johnny Lauro. Thank you so much for thank you to him for being on this show. We're gonna be promoting this Saturday show all week. If you're not able to be there in person, of course check us out on YouTube, 11:30 Eastern time. So I know that's early for the West Coast people, but Raider fans, that should not phase you whatsoever. Um, you got let's see. So
You got me.
Brian Sanjoku, what's up, Sanjoku? He says, Johnny, I feel your pain. Owning a restaurant right now is a challenge that only other owners understand. Stay strong, sir. Yes. So support Sanjoku too if you're around, if you know where his restaurant is. Also, what is in here? He says, you ready for some Texas Nation? You ready
Oh,
for Texas?
yes.
That's a new one. I haven't heard
Yeah.
that. It's Raider Nation also. Let's stick to Raider Nation. But we like you. We like Texas, but I haven't heard Texas Nation. Is that a new one? 2021 Arlington, Texas. The nation takes over Texas. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Well, Raider Nation takes over Texas. I know. I'll stick with that one. But you
Speaking
do
about
you.
Texas, I hope everyone's okay out there in that snow storm they had. Take care of my family out that way.
Yes, definitely. So we are going to be talking to Nevada Nick now. He has some interesting, I think, mock draft. Also, we are going to keep on with the off season free agency rumor, right? I think that's
Yeah.
what keeps us interested as
Yes.
as fans, talking about the players in the offseason. Will they still be on the team? Will they not? The ongoing Carr discussion. I'm reading he's now in for an extension. I know there's some very vocal opinions about that, and especially in our chat line as well. I know how most of you feel about Mr. DC himself. And is Gruden safe if that happens? And will the Raiders, if the Raiders do not make the playoffs, is that something that both Gruden and Carr will be able to live through, if you will? So, without further ado, I will bring in my friend Nevada Nick. What's up, Nevada Nick?
What's up, Angela? What's up, Mother Moon?
What's up, Nevada Nick? Good to hear your voice
And
again.
a snowstorm in Texas, it was like 3 or 4 inches. That's all. And I tell you, it shut down the whole state, 3 or 4 inches.
Oh, they
Wow.
can't handle it, huh? Is that what you're
They
saying?
couldn't. They couldn't. It was like crazy.
Sometimes we can't handle the rain, but it
So
happens.
Nevada Nick, you and I have been chatting offline a bit here and there about all of the off-season drama. It's always fun to talk about, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, no, it always is. Keeps you going. Like I said, the NFL is a full season thing.
So what have you make of the latest Carr rumor? It seems like every day, every week at least, there's a new Carr rumor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the last couple of weeks you had all the trade rumors, whether they were going to trade him, and then now, we talked about the extension, and I think that would be a big mistake for multiple reasons. I mean, look at my Eagles as an example. We just $32 million cap hit we're going to have this year for trading Wentz. I mean, you look at Goff and Wentz, I think they're prime examples of why you don't pay guys early. And I think Derek Carr would be a huge mistake. I mean, yeah, like we know he hasn't played a playoff game yet. I know the one time they did make the playoffs, he was hurt, but still, I'd want to see it this year. And not just that. Okay, if let's say they pay him, and then you have a bad year this year, and let's say you want to move on from Gruden, now you're forcing Carr onto the next coach,
Yeah.
and maybe that coach would want his choice of who he wants to quarterback the team. So I don't have a problem with Carr being the quarterback this year because I know you said it. I know Mother Moon said it. Who's going to replace him if he isn't? So I agree with that. And if you don't have somebody that you think's an upgrade, I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing it with a rookie either. So I get that. But at the same point, I'm not ready to give him more years and a big contract. And that's the other thing, too. If they sign him, he might end up getting one of those, top 3, 4, 5 quarterback deals ever. And I think that's a big mistake. You don't pay a good quarterback, great quarterback money because then it's going to really hamper the team.
Right. I agree with that. So you're more knowledgeable about the cap space issue and the money and things like that than I am. So how I read the rumor to be is they would extend Carr's contract. However, what they would do is it would be like he wouldn't make more money per se, he would make his money in bonuses. Therefore, he would have to perform in order to really make the money that he's almost already contracted to earn.
Mm.
Um, but it would free up money immediately so that the Raiders could really start to build the team that they need that they think will take them to the playoffs. Is that how you understood it?
No, I didn't know that. So if that's the case, it doesn't bother me as much because like what he's playing for this year, it's actually team friendly. But I wouldn't pay him much more than that. I do not think he's a $32 million a year quarterback. I think he's about where he's at. I think he's that second tier of quarterbacks after the top 5 to 7 quarterbacks in the league. He's in that second tier. But yeah, no, if it's like incentive laden and he needs to prove it, I would be fine with that. But players don't usually like signing those contracts, especially in the NFL, which obviously it stands for not for long. And the contracts, it's not like the NBA and baseball where you sign your contract and you're guaranteed. It's
Yeah.
That's not the case. You can be cut usually after the first year or two, with the guaranteed money. So we'll see. But yeah, if that's the case, it wouldn't bother me as much.
Right. If that's the case, it wouldn't bother me really at all. And I would think that we're seeing a Derek Carr who, not to say he hasn't wanted to win before, but he's really putting some of his earnings on the line to prove that he really wants to do that and sacrificing to make the team better. Again, these are all rumors. Who knows if any of this is true or what will happen? But I
Right.
think that's a big statement from him,
Mm.
if it is true. And I think in that case, it would be a good move for the Raiders.
Yeah, and look, like we've said, I don't think Derek Carr is the problem. I don't know if he's the solution either, but I
Right.
don't think Carr's the problem. They just, we're going to go into like their draft classes, and that's really been the issue. You
That's
got to
it.
have good drafts, and look, the one year they have 3 first-round picks, and I know you get Jacobs and Abram out of that, but Jacobs, had a little bit of trouble this offseason. I know he did make the Pro Bowl, but I thought he was actually I had high hopes for him last year. I thought he was going to be a top
Yeah.
5 rusher. I really did. I know he made the Pro Bowl and he's young, so there's still plenty of time, but that's why, like I said last week, I wanted Trent Brown back. I know everybody hates him, but that line did not play as good in the second half of the season. And as you know, with the Raiders, that was the big reason they had the success last year, and the big reason they had the success in the beginning half of this year. They were running the football, having a lot of success running the ball, and that didn't happen as much in the second half. So,
I mean, the
like
thing
I
is,
said, I'm
Trent Brown just needs to want to play and get onto the field. That's the issue. It's not that we hate him per se, but it's
right.
like you're going to pay this dude to just get more out of shape and stand on the sidelines. That's not a benefit to any team really.
Yeah. No, oh
So
no, I agree. And then the whole when he took his tracker off or whatever, I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars. I mean, things like that can't happen. So no, I get it. But if you're going to let him go, who are you going to replace him with? Because I know there's talk about maybe do they move on from Richie Incognito? What's going to happen with Denzel Good? Rodney Hudson has a big contract. So there's a lot of question marks, and that was you going into last year, that was the strength of their team was their offensive line, and now with Trent Brown missing a lot of games this year, they were kind of moving everything around, and that's never a good thing. You saw what happened to the Chiefs when they in the Super Bowl when they lost their 2 tackles. They're moving everything around, and the offensive line looked terrible.
yeah, we can talk about that a little more. No, I'm kidding. We enjoyed that as Raider fans. I'm not sure. Our KC fan here in the chat line enjoyed it as much as we did, but it's like I know it's so sad, right? That's our victory. That's the Raiders' victory.
Hey, for years that's how it was for me. Because the Eagles couldn't win the big one. It was just seeing Dallas's dismay was what I had my joy. So, but luckily we finally got a Super Bowl. But I really believe like Eagles fans had to sell their soul to get their Super Bowl because now we're just going through hell already 3 years later.
Yeah. Well, I guess rebuilding years I get, but geez, the Raiders have been rebuilding. Feels like my entire life.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's been
and when you look at it too, I mean, I'm a firm believer, obviously, in building your team through the draft because free agency and tough free agency is more to fill your team out or go get that guy if you think you're a player away. You don't want to, hold up on just signing free agents because you're going to have to overpay for all of them. So you really need to have good drafts. Then, when the Raiders in 2014 and 2015, they had two great drafts, and then look, they make the playoffs a year or two later because 2014 they go Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson. When you have a draft like that where you hit on three players, and those are three Pro Bowl caliber players, and then the next year in the first round you get Amari Cooper, you're getting talent, and that's what they need to do is hit on their draft picks. I mean, they've only had 6 Pro Bowlers since 2004, and three of them were just one time made the Pro Bowl one time, and then other three obviously Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, who had multiple. But you got to start drafting guys and hitting on these draft picks to make your team better and get the depth of the Raiders better.
And that's a lot of what I don't understand with Gruden. When he just wants to continually trade, he's like, I want draft picks. I want draft picks. It's like, but you don't even know what to do with them.
Right.
So it's like, okay, you want all these draft picks, and then the draft classes are underachieving, really. And I mean, it's not just Gruden. I mean, the draft, it feels like the draft for the Raiders has been underachieving for a lot longer than Gruden's been around. Um, so and of course the Raiders have changed GMs and all this other stuff. So it is different personnel, but
Yeah.
the outcome and the result has seemed consistent.
And you just look at last year's; they took 3 receivers with 3 of the first 4 picks. Like you knew the defense had issues, and look, I get Ruggs, but now you got to look at that pick and you wonder he doesn't run great routes. He had, to me, a lot of very glaring mistakes this year, where his mistake would become a pick six or an interception. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do this year because they really need to hit on their picks.
All right. So speaking of, and we kind of segue into this though, do you have a little bit of a mock draft info we can fantasize about?
And I've said it before. I really think they're going to go with an edge rusher at 17. I, I I would be really happy if I was.
What does that look like though? Because I mean, educate me because I don't know what that looks like in terms of who's available and who will be available at that number. So what would that look like? Could they really get somebody to make a difference at that number and in that position?
Yeah, I mean, you are kind of in that middle, in that no man's land a little bit, which is, once again, like I've said, this is the whole issue with having those 8 and 8, 9 and 7 type years. It's like you're stuck in the middle of the draft. You almost, if you had a worse year, you get a higher draft pick. But no, I mean, you could get somebody good. I talked about obviously Gregory Rousseau from Miami. He opted out this year, but he's got a ton of talent. He was thought to be a top 5 pick, so that's somebody I think you guys would be a win for you. Some people like Christian Barmore from Alabama. He's a defensive tackle, but he's 310, big guy, can really get off the ball. That would be a defensive tackle. And then the one I like is Kwity Paye. If they can, now he might go higher, but man, if he could fall to them, I think that would be a big win for them. And and it's crazy because obviously you had the Khalil Mack trade, and look, when that happened, I think everybody thought the Bears won. And then the next year, when you saw all those picks doing so well, it seemed like the Raiders won. And now here we are, where the Raiders' most glaring need is a pass rusher. Yeah. So you kind of won. I mean, you wonder who won that trade.
I'm always one of those people that have said that I thought that was a bad trade. I know some people really thought it was great and will still say that and thought it was good to trade him. I never liked the trade. I still don't like the trade. And now look, we need exactly him, right?
Yeah.
Or the Raiders need, I should say. The Raiders need exactly him.
And that's one thing that I saw today, too. So it's believed they're going to make it a 17-game season this year. It still needs to be voted on, obviously. But if it does happen, the Raiders will be playing the Bears. So you will be playing Khalil Mack, obviously.
Isn't this the second time since he's been traded? I feel like they played them. Did they not play them? Yeah.
You might be right. They may have played them last year.
I can't remember. I think it was. I know they played them. I can't remember exactly when, but they haven't played him since Khalil went to the Bears. I'm almost certain. Maybe the chat line can help me out with that.
Because I know this year they played the NFC South. Obviously do not remember last year. So, but yeah, obviously if it would have been last year because I think it's been 2 seasons, right? I think
Yeah.
they
I
have
know
where their trade.
this is such a weird year with trying to remember what actually happened, quote unquote, last year, right?
Mm. And
Two.
what's funny is we're coming up.
Also said 2 years ago, so
Okay.
I think that means 28. Does that mean 2018?
Okay. And then yeah, John and Sharif said they played them in London. So there you go.
There you have it. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't think there's any chance, obviously, of we can't change that, but hopefully we can just get, like you say, the Raiders need pass rushing. They need defense. I don't think it's like as fans we like to point at certain things: the coach, the quarterback, the defense, the this, the that. I think the Raiders really have issues on all of those levels. I don't think this is a quick fix. I think the Raiders are lucky or fortunate, if you will, to be playing the NFC East next year. So hopefully that can translate into some wins because I don't remember everyone's record exactly, but I believe if the Raiders were in that division, they would have won the division, correct? And not just
Yeah.
the Raiders, I think a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gives them a little bit of an edge. But also you can't really bank once you make the playoffs, you still have to play the really good teams.
Right. And
even though you might beat the lesser teams to get there, you still really have to be a good team to really get further.
yeah. No, right. And they still do have to play the NFC North too, which will be tough because obviously you got 3 playoffs teams in the AFC North. So, but no, obviously getting to play the NFC least will help. Not the Eagles, but it'll help the Raiders. So you'd think the Eagles could win that division, but obviously they can't. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting too is to see what happens with Mariota, because can they get a good draft pick for him? There's a couple teams still looking for a quarterback, and when you look to next year, they said the free agents class isn't that great in regards to QBs, and neither is the draft class. So, one of those teams that kind of has an empty chair, do they trade maybe a second or third round pick for Mariota? I think that would really help too. But you had mentioned about the Raiders, and I really think it goes all the way to the top with ownership on down. You question the coach, maybe, what's going on with Mayock. And I think obviously this year you're going to get a lot of answers with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely starts from the top and trickles all the way down. I mean, it's like every year we want, as Raiders fans, we want to go in and we look at the schedule and we have all these predictions and then we hope they do well. I think I'm more of a realist, and I just it's hard to say. I mean, I did come really close to predicting that they would have the schedule that they had this season. However, if it were game for game, I would have been way off. Because some of the ones they lost, I thought they would have won and vice versa.
Well, if I would have said they'll beat the Chiefs, and then you almost lose to the Jets, and then there was they lose to the Falcons, and that.
Falcons.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember it well. Okay, I flew all the way
yeah.
there.
Well, one of the worst things you can ever do is do that when you get a schedule win because you never know what's going to happen with injuries, with everything, and with predictions. The one I love is Thor. Thor, he'll have like this wide prediction. It could be 7 wins to 11 wins. It's like this. It's like 6 different predictions.
For real, Thor will throw out every combination there is.
A 16-game season, a 17-game season.
Reef says Mayock belongs in a TV studio. Does that mean he should be like commentating or something? Is that
Yeah, well, he was on the NFL Network. He was the draft guy. Yeah, I mean, look, he might be if they have another rough draft this year and don't make the playoffs. I think that's very possible because, you look at, like I said, you look at some of the drafts and especially his first one with, they got Colton Miller, who isn't bad, but Arden Key didn't really pan out. There's, he might end up getting released. And you look at some of his guys, he's done better in later rounds. Like Max Crosby was a 4th round pick. Hunter Renfrow, who I really like, he was a 5th round pick. So they've actually had some better luck in the later rounds than in the early rounds.
Yeah, definitely. I think I put this up, but I don't know if you saw it here. It says it is what it is. Mac was the closer in a lot of games with sacks and forced fumbles that 12-4 year. So yeah, that's a big impact.
Yeah, I mean, he was a defensive player of the year caliber player. I mean, Aaron Donald I mean, he creates havoc. He really does. And you have to follow him on the field. If you're a line, you got to be aware of him. You got to shift the blocking to him. Running backs need to be aware of him. Tight ends need to be aware of him. He changes, how you game plan for a game. So there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and he will only make other players on the team better, right? He'll make Mad Max better, or not him, excuse me. A pass rusher will
Yeah,
only make all of the rest of the defense because I think there are pieces there. It just like they need a bookend. It can't
yeah,
just be all one player. It needs to be a real defensive unit, if you will.
yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, no real big moves have been made, correct?
In regards to the Raiders or the NFL,
Correct.
you saying?
Yeah, to the
Oh,
to the
yeah, not really. They got that Lester Cotton they signed. I think that's his name. Yeah, that's really about it. But it'll start really warming up here because I think free agency starts March 12th, so we're a few weeks away, and they have that period too, like a couple days before, where they can start negotiating, and you really start hearing that there's agreements anyway. Even though they can't technically sign till the whatever it is, a Thursday or a Friday. So we'll see. I don't think the Raiders are going to do too much, anything too crazy in the free agency market. But still, you want to see them get a couple, good players. You don't need to win free agency because a lot of times the teams that win free agency end up, not doing too great during the season. You just want to get some quality players in, and then we'll see what happens with the draft. And that's the thing I'm more looking forward to is who they draft and where they're really looking at trying to fix this team.
Right. And I think this is a good point here. Rams paid Donald and built around him. And I think that move almost hurt the Raiders in a little bit in terms of the Khalil Mack trade. I think, Khalil saw something like that and the amount paid for a position for that type of position really skyrocketed. Kind of like you're seeing with the recent quarterback trade with the Rams and the Lions and things like that. It kind of really throws how do you say, like, the comps, if you will, out of whack.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think that was one of the reasons they traded Khalil Mack. They didn't want to pay him all that money. Obviously, go back to that time. That was when they were in Oakland still, and Davis was crying poor and putting his pockets out. Like he had no money, obviously.
Don't get
um,
me started on that, Nevada
no, I
man.
know. I mean, but that's
It'll be a
that's
whole show. We'll do a special show on how I feel about him and the whole 30 for 30 thing too, if you want.
right. But then you end up going paying Trent Brown, who had a really good year with the Patriots, but was a going into that year. He was a backup tackle for the Patriots, and then they win the Super Bowl. He has a great year, but you give him $66 million, which Khalil Mack would have been maybe another $30 million on top of it. But that and Trent Brown hasn't played that much as you alluded to, so maybe they should have given him the money. Because now the draft picks, when you look at them, it's not really adding up. Look, I like Josh Jacobs. Don't get me wrong, but a guy like Khalil Mack on the other side would have looked nice, and maybe you get a different running back you sign because running backs, are pretty cheap nowadays because
Yeah.
teams know that they don't have long shelf lives in
Right.
the
Too
NFL.
many. It's short. Exactly. Q, if you're still in here, Q's a big college football guy. I'd love to hear a comment on your take on who you think the Raiders would benefit from at I guess, the 17th pick, or just really in general. What do you think what kind of moves you think the Raiders could make to really kind of improve the defense or the team in general? Anyone chime in on that? I just
Yeah.
shut down
Well,
because I know
that's
it's
the
in
one
depth.
thing they better go defense, Angela. I mean, I think you guys should have a mutiny on your hands if they draft an offensive player. I think John Gruden and Mayock should be taken out in
They're
handcuffs.
gonna take a
Be-
wide receiver at 17.
oh, trust me, the Eagles been doing it too. And that's the problem with the Raiders. You look at like Ruggs last year. I had the same problem with the Eagles. You see a guy like Jefferson who goes to the Vikings and has a Pro Bowl year and sets records for a rookie receiver. The Eagles took Rager and you guys took Ruggs, and that's a problem too. When you're going to take somebody that high, you need to hit on it. And man, Jefferson would look really good in that Raiders offense.
Yeah, and I bring this up a lot. I don't know what the deal was with Ruggs. I don't know if we'll ever find out, but I don't, you know, did he just not prove himself like in camp or at practice? Like, did they not have faith in him to really throw him the ball or use him as often, or is it something just like not great play calling with mixing up the plays and really utilizing this huge playbook that we hear that Gruden has, even though he doesn't really seem to use it. And I know I said that over and over again, but can somebody give me an answer, please? No.
But no, you're right. I mean, it seemed like they just couldn't get him going this year, and they would, they would try to get the ball to him deep, but I mean, it's good. A lot of eyes are going to be on him because, if he has another year, I know it's only 2 years, but people start hearing the word bust, and we'll see what happens too. Because the receivers, look, especially if they bring back Aguilar, they have a lot of receivers, and then also they'll have the other kid they drafted last year in the draft, Edwards, the third-round pick. He's coming back. He was hurt most of the year, so I'm kind of curious to see what happens in the wide receiver room.
And we have a long time to talk about it, right? The draft is, I don't know the exact date, but obviously it's somewhere in mid-April, and then all the way until August to sit and have this discussion. It's a fun discussion, I think, to have. I think that's why football is kind of an ongoing thing year round, is because we can all sit and chat about this. It's not as straightforward as maybe like a sport like baseball or something, right? Where you're like, okay, we watch the game, we enjoy it. It's a lot more intricate. There's a lot more thought process behind it. And we all have an opinion, and it's fun to share it.
Yeah. Oh, well, in baseball too. I mean, excuse me, football. The thing I love about football, it can, you can go from being 7-9 to winning the Super Bowl. It happened with the Eagles. There's so much parity in the league. Baseball, it's a lot about sorry to bring it up, but as an A's fan, it's a lot about how much money you have in baseball. And there's a lot of the same teams over and over. Same thing with basketball. That's what's great about football. There's a lot of changing pieces, and a team that was 7-9 can go and win the Super Bowl the next year. So that's one thing I love about football. It changes every year. There's different teams every year. So
There you go. And Raider Squid just said it's April 29th is draft day. So we should all get together and have some sort of party on that day. Unless people are actually at the draft. So who knows? We might still be at home and whatnot, and we can always have fun.
now last year the draft was supposed to be in Vegas, right?
It was correct.
And then it's going to be there next year now, I guess, instead. Is
Yeah,
that what
so
they're doing?
this year I think Cleveland was already planned, so then I think they've just bumped it to the following year, which is next year.
Okay.
Maybe they didn't have anyone scheduled for that year yet. I don't know.
Now, did they book a? Because I'm obviously would think you guys are going to get you're going to get a Super Bowl in Vegas as well too. Because I know the one in LA it's in LA next year. I know that
Right. I think it's been booked. I don't know that for sure. Maybe the people can let us know. I feel like it's very soon after, if not right after the LA Super Bowl.
Although that's the one thing, like a lot of people like Miami. I don't know if it gets better than the Super Bowl in Vegas. That's pretty cool.
I liked it when it was I thought it was cool in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, and not necessarily the game, because the game's not even in San Francisco, but I liked
Mhm.
like they had concerts in Golden Gate Park, and they
Okay.
had concerts in the Embarcadero and things like that. So the way the city came alive for that, I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Well,
But
see, for somebody like me who's a degenerate gambler, you got the gambling aspect, you got the nightlife aspect.
of course.
It's pretty much a perfect world for me.
Yeah, that there will be great parties. There's this epic party I went to. It was the Maxim party on Treasure Island when the Super Bowl was in San Francisco. So that was really cool. So yeah, but they found a really good way to kind of utilize the different aspects of the city. I think Vegas will probably be more like clubs and parties and stuff. I think San Francisco was unique, like concerts or parties on the island, concerts in the park, like things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, either way, I mean, it's gonna Vegas. I think Vegas is fun, LA's fun, Miami's fun, New York's fun. Those are all
Sounds like you like fun.
yeah. Yeah, I am so down. Like a Super Bowl, I'm down for the fun. I'm like barely watch the game, right? You know it. All right, Nevada Nick. Well, we are almost up on our time, so I will chat with you next week. Um, we are going to change our time. I'll let you go and I'll make that announcement. But
Okay.
always a pleasure having you, and thank you for giving us your insight.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Thank you. You
You
too.
too. Talk soon. Take care.
All right. Yes. So we are going to continue on Tuesday nights, but we are building a lineup for you, just like you're watching network television, except better. So we will now be going on at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we will be on for an hour, and that will lead you into the Black Hole Unleashed podcast, and they start at 6:30. So come check us out first. For Life, our Raider story, our take. Of course, it's mostly with myself, Spicy Raider Girl, but also Mighty Thor, Omar, Quiet Q, Mother Moon's always behind the scenes. We will all take turns hosting the show, and then I will lead into the Black Hole Unleashed podcast. So actually, they are on now. Once we wrap here, which we are wrapping now, you can go over there. They are live on Facebook. You can check them out. And don't forget to tune in this Saturday, 11:30 Eastern time. I know I'm switching the times on you here. 11:30 Eastern time, live at Peter Dillon's in New York with Johnny Lauro as our host and Carmine, as well as Mr. Robert Vega, New York's Bravest, will be there, and Sharif. And I think we are going to have other guests lined up for that as well. That will be an hour show. Well, it's planning on being an hour. Who knows? You know how we do. Anyway, anything else, Mother Moon?
No, I think you've covered it.
All
Great
right.
interview with Johnny. Really excited to hear what he has to say and all his stories.
Yes.
Yeah. Great
All
stuff.
right, everybody. Well, you know, we go out one way and only one way.
Our story, our story. Yes, I represent the nation. Our story, our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation, our story. That's right. And I'm with Spicy Girl and that Mother Moon. La Familia. Mighty Thor and a Quiet Q. Super Hood. Omar. On the grill. And the B-Lot. Three amigos. Four brothers. Mr. Nicely Seasoned. What's the mariachis without Senior Raider? Representing just like the beginning Oakland Raider. Darlene and the Raider home. What a big logo. Chucky Gruded, my boss. Black Eyes. We're tailgaters. And it began on an autumn day. Right here in the OAK. California dreaming in that golden state. Alameda County right here in the Bay. And you could find me on that east side, yo. Representing that east side, oh. But no matter what, we represent the shield. Just like Anna in the band club Emeryville. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Raider Nation. Our story, our story. Yo, representing silver and the black, Mr. Matter of Fact, yo, is here. Without showing any pity, from Oakland to Los Angeles to Vegas, all the way to Mexico City. And I represent that nation. Our story, our story. Yes, I represent the nation. Our story, our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation, our story. Right. Yo, this is my story and I represent it with the pride and the poor commitment to that excellence. I represent with noise. This is how I do it, the silver and the black. And I come into the track and I represent it, matter of fact. And I'm cruising around with Hollywood Raider all around the town. And I just found out Raider Savage on the interstate. Raider de la Baja, yeah, orale. So get over here, cause we representing now. And that I don't win is a favorite. The gonna win is a breeze. The gonna win is a race. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Dedicated to the nation. Our story, our story. Raider Nation. Our story, our story. Yo, representing silver and the black, Mr. Matter of Fact, yo, is here. Without showing any pity, from Oakland to Los Angeles to Vegas, all the way to Mexico City. And I represent that nation. Our story. Yes, I represent the nation. Our story. Yes, I represent that nation. Our story. Raider Nation. That's right, Mr. Matter of Fact is here.